of these overnight cues impact our own markets, our research team is joining in with the trade set of the stocks that are likely to be in focus as well. You know, on Friday morning, we told you about the fact that the Nifty recovery, the 3-day recovery that we had seen ahead of Friday's trading session, hinges on three very important factors. And those were the three important earnings that we reacted to, be it Infosys, Reliance Industries and Axis Bank. And despite Reliance Industries doing well for itself, ending 2.5% higher, those gains were offset by the losses that were seen in Infosys and in Axis Bank. And if you pull up the contributors chart, that'll give you an idea of how the 56-point gain was offset by a 68-point drop in Infosys and a 32-point drop in Axis Bank. So those two contributing 100 points out of 108 that the Nifty ended lower on Friday, with the 3-day gaining streak came to a halt, and as a result of which the index ended 1% lower for the week. Similar action on the Nifty Bank as well, 0.5% lower for the week, but the actual action took place in the broader markets. You know, remember, the mid-cap and the small-cap indices ended 4% lower last Monday, and over the next 4 days, they recovered all of those losses. The mid-cap index ending just 11 points higher compared to last Friday's close, but it was a green, and the small-cap index too ending just above the flat line for the week. Now, I highlight some positive triggers for today's trading session for the Nifty at least. It's a strong handover from Wall Street. US markets ended very well yesterday. We just spoke about that. Earnings from Kotak Mahindra Bank were very strong. Upgrades have come in from there, so that can lend some support. And of course, the Wipro ADR ending 4% higher on Friday as well. Of course, caution also remains ahead of HDFC Bank's results this week, Trump's uncertainty as well as the statements that he'll make post-inauguration, and of course keep an eye out on the oil prices and the dollar index as well. Plenty of earnings reactions today, a lot of F&O earnings also today, and the GIFT Nifty so far is indicating a slightly positive start for our own markets. But over to Vamakshi now, who would list out the stocks that you need to keep an eye out for in today's session. Vamakshi, good morning. What's on your list?
Well, good morning, Ormaz. Let me first start off with Wipro. The company reported CC revenue growth of 0.1% sequentially. The margin came in higher than the poll at 17.5%. In addition to that, the company has gone ahead and revised its capital allocation policy. They will be increasing payout percentage from 45 to 50% to nearly 70% or more of the 3-year profit. Kotak Mahindra Bank's NII saw an uptick of almost 10% year-on-year, at coming in at 7,196 crores. Net profit too was up nearly 10% on a year-on-year basis. Tech Mahindra's CC revenue growth came in at 1.2% sequentially. This is higher than our poll of 0 to 1%. The margins have come more or less in line with estimates at 10.2%. Indian Hotels margin expanded by nearly 70 basis points to 38%. The net profit saw an uptick of almost 33%. ICICI Lombard's gross premium was marginally lower by 0.3%. The combined ratio came up to 102.7% as compared to 103.6% on a year-on-year basis, and the net profit saw a very sharp surge of almost 68%. RBL Bank's NII grew by 2.5%, coming in line with our estimates. Net profit was down nearly 86% below estimates, and the net NPA also improved to 0.53%. Ashapura Minecham's, the company's arm, has signed an MOU with China Railway to jointly develop its FACO bauxite deposit in the Kindia region of Guinea. And lastly, keep an eye out on GMR airports, because the December passenger traffic was up nearly 9% year-on-year and 6% month-on-month.
Vamakshi, thanks a lot for that. Over to Mangalam now, joins in with cues from the F&O space. Mangalam, good morning. We're still holding on to 23,000, but what's the data on the F&O side indicating?
Let's look at what the data says. For starters, the GIFT Nifty is indicating a mildly positive start. On Friday, the Nifty Bank the Nifty Bank was actually under pressure, down about 1.5%. The Nifty was supported, and the mid-cap index did well. So let's look at three stocks which will be in focus. One, we have Reliance, which supported the index on the Friday. We had Infosys and Axis Bank, which actually dragged the index lower. And now today, we have positive news coming on both IT and the banking front. On the banking front, we have the Nifty Bank, which will be in focus because of Kotak Mahindra's results, which beat expectations. And on the IT front, we'll have Wipro, which will do well. On a flows perspective, we had cash markets selling off close to 3,300 crores by the FIs. Not too big given the average selling that we've seen on a daily basis, but in index futures, the selling has expanded. They sold about 2,400 odd crores and added nearly 30,000 short contracts as well, as a result of which their net exposure stands at near record high once again, negative 3.26 lakh, and the longs have fallen to 16% as well. So any up move, we need to watch out for it sustaining only to see some short covering. Otherwise, this selling pressure will continue. What are the options that the street is playing with? 23,200 call and 23,200 put, We ended around the 23,200 mark on Friday itself. So that's the straddle which is most active. 183 on 23,200 call and 150 on 23,200 put. Roughly 300 rupee premium. Option writers expecting a range between 22,900 to 23,500 itself. Canfin Homes, we pointed out the possibility of it entering F&O ban. That's happened. And we'll keep an eye out on Kalyan Jewellers. The stock is in F&O ban. Seen a big cut. Long positions are being unwound. Would there be any buying at lower levels or not is something we'll keep an eye out on.
It's been a stock that has been in focus all of last week as well, isn't it, Mangalam? Thanks a lot for that. Time for a